Well, a very busy Saturday today, man. Of short We're at number 3 today. This is from the pop, Don Kincaid, and my very special guest, Grappling Greg. What's up, baby?
What's going on, Don Kincaid, man?
Uh, I can't say that I've ever thought that me and Grappling Greg would have ever connected. This is something I've never seen coming.
Well, I'd like to congratulate. Is this the 200th episode?
Actually, my man, this is number 200 on the episode. Yes, it is.
Congratulations and hats off to you on that, Don, man.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. We've been having a lot of fun. I started doing them face to face at some of the fine talents' homes and such, but with the whole virus bullshit, can't do that anymore. So I picked up the Skype, and we've been just having so much fun. And I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Now I know we're here to bring you in. We brought you in to talk wrestling and stuff, but I want to start off on a little different subject, if I could, please.
Absolutely.
Now, I seen your Facebook.
Yep.
You live in Bristol. I'm a Bristol-born guy. I live like a town over in Plymouth.
Okay.
I seen that you yourself have seen a homeless guy, and there's a plenty on the corners of Bristol streets that have
Yes.
cardboard signs. They're looking for cash or what have you.
Yep.
And you hit the old record button. You wanted to do something cool for this guy. Why don't you talk to us, the fans, about what did you do? How did you go about this? Why did you do this? Talk to us about that day.
Absolutely no problem, man. I am from Bristol, Connecticut. I've been here my whole life. I'm turning 37 this month, so that gives you an idea of how long I've been around. Okay. Basically, what led up to it was I had heard there's a site called Bristol Talks, and I don't go on it much at all, but I had ended up going down my news feeds, and I saw this article from Bristol Talks that had talked about a homeless guy who had ended up passing away in Rockwell Park. And it didn't have too much information about it, but it just stuck. It was usually when people go down their Facebook feed or whatever, it's real easy just to scroll by and not stop on anything because you don't find it interesting or whatnot. But just the headline of the homeless guy passing away caught my eye. And just being local, driving around and everything, there's this one major intersection in Bristol that if you're from Bristol, you'd be familiar with the Aldi section. There's a four-way right there.
Mm-hmm.
There had been this kid standing there almost the entire summer with a cardboard sign saying he was homeless and hungry. And I had physically walked by him several times and never thought anything of it until I actually saw this homeless guy who passed away. And then it hit me that, that day I was doing a little bit better for myself. So I wanted to go and introduce myself to the guy and get his story, which is something that I normally would never do. But I didn't know what had led him there. How did you wind up homeless? I wanted to get that story from him and get if he knew the other homeless guy who passed away. And once kind of just throwing my camera on live and kind of interviewing him like we are right now, he kind of admitted to me how he wound up there and what led him there. And I didn't feel too comfortable handing him over cash at that point.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, well, if you're hungry, I'll gladly put you in my car. I'll take you down to a restaurant. I'll get you a pizza, and I'll come back and drop you off. And that's what I did just to make his day better.
That story, I've been waiting to talk to you since I saw it in your Facebook. Uh, my friend, that was very cool of you. First off, you didn't
I
have to
appreciate
do
that.
that. You know,
Right.
because I do see people rolling down their windows, giving cash and such. But for you to get out and approach one of these kids, and I will say, there's actually been another one that you might not be aware of. There was another guy that has been roaming these corners with the cardboard signs.
Right.
He's been, I think, now I don't have the story correct, so I don't want to say names. I don't want to say the exact situation because I don't know.
Right.
It's all hearsay, but there's another guy that has passed away. There's a couple of them that have been kind of taken away from the streets due to different circumstances.
Right.
But for you to get out of your vehicle, walk over to the guy with your phone on and ask him, hey, do you mind if I talk to you? My phone is on. And he was cool with it. I seen that.
Yeah, I appreciate you noticing that too, Don, because it's really something that I would normally never do throughout my regular day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it just was something like a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
So
I could definitely feel that. Now, another part of that I took away from is when you were questioning him, you were pretty honest, not like blunt or anything, and not being a jackass or anything, but you were being honest. And you were like, so, you do heroin, and, like, because he told you the heroin conversation came in. But in the same token, he was being as honest to you as you were being honest to him.
that's why I bought him a pizza. You know, and I didn't have to do that, but I wanted to. You know, it was like when you're talking hard drugs and everything, I've never I've never gone down that road. I know people that have, and it's a big problem like locally in Bristol too. A lot of people have gone over the last year due to the epidemic of that problem. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's sad for the families that have to deal with it. You know.
My family has been hit by that situation.
Right.
So I definitely know that there's plenty out there. And, I don't want to say, it's 2021, you think it would just go away kind of thing because people know what to expect. You get hooked on it, bad shit's going to happen,
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much in 2021 that shouldn't be happening anyways, but it does. But anywho, I really want to applaud you for stopping and talking to the guy, hooking him up with a little bit of eats. That was
Yep.
very cool of you, man.
I appreciate that a lot, man.
Uh, Now, is that something that you're going to carry on? Because there's multiple corners with multiple different faces on the corners of Bristol.
I've seen a lot more pop up over, I would say, the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily know where these people are coming from, what their backstory is, but I can tell you this: just being a local, I personally don't have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not extremely wealthy or anything to that extent, but I'm the type of person where if I have $20 in my pocket, I could share.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to just have it all to myself or whatever. I would be, hey, I could take 10 and you could take 10 and, like that. But as far as giving to the homeless and stuff like that, there was actually an independent wrestler who I've gotten to share the ring with. And I saw him making videos about him feeding the homeless. So that kind of caught my attention.
I got
And then all that happened where I saw the sign or whatever. I said, hey, this guy is going out on a daily basis doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try it at least once, So,
Wow. So you got some inspiration and you just took that inspiration, ran with it, and you did a good thing, my man. You definitely did a good thing. Now, with that set aside, I wanted to jump into wrestling because I've actually seen you perform a couple of times without you knowing.
Okay.
I've seen PWA at the old Bristol Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
Two different occasions before the new one was put up, and there was another show. I believe one more PWA show was there at the new school.
Correct.
Uh, I've seen you at both of those Bristol Boys and Girls Club show.
Okay.
And the only reason why I do remember that specifically is the posters. It had a hometown guy. He was wearing American singlet, and his name was Grappling Greg. I'm like, hey, Pop, you want to go see this wrestling? I go, I want to go see this.
Hey, Don. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got a little something to show you, man. It's supporting Fogman and everything, but check out this shirt, man.
Oh, look at that, dude! Look at that. That's awesome.
We got
Did you-
we got Fogman and Allison Jade supporting the center ring.
Did you make that hoodie?
I had it made, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, brother. Holy cow.
I might have to get one for a stirring the pot now, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's very cool, man. That's really, really cool. Uh, so seeing those posters, a hometown kid, American, singlet. His name is Grappling Greg. I'm like, hey, Dad, you want to go check this out? I go, we got a hometown kid. It's something different to do. And I was just jumping into independent wrestling at that time, pretty much.
Right.
Ox Baker was still around. He was making his appearances. So yeah, I've seen it perform a couple times over at the old Bristol Boys and Girls Club. So I just wanted to throw you that. And it was interesting to see because I was always used to seeing the names, if you will. I wasn't used to independent wrestling.
Right.
So seeing the way it was presented was different for me, and I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to thank you because I've never really spoken to you about those PWA shows. I wanted to thank you because that's kind of got me continue to roll with the independent wrestling, so I appreciate that.
I thank you for that. Yeah. Those shows were I can't even act like they weren't. Those shows were the best time of my life. Being local from Bristol, just to get into like a backstory on me is I amateur wrestled my entire life from kindergarten through my senior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
And I started in 1989 in kindergarten, right at the old Bristol Boys and Girls Club. So to be able to perform live there as an adult with John Cena Sr. managing me in my hometown, that was the biggest night of my life by far.
A surreal moment, if you will, because when you take this venture on becoming a professional wrestler, you always have these thoughts of if I could just do this or if I could just do that. But coming full circle and coming back, like you were speaking of, coming back to the Bristol Boys Club and being full circle and performing there, and not only with John Cena Sr., my friend, but I am telling you, the crowd there was absolutely fucking packed.
Hot, right?
Wall.
Hot. And you know why it was packed? It was packed because number one, the people promoting the shows promoted them. Another reason why it was packed is, and this is another reason why I wanted to come on, Don, because I don't know if you know, but it has been a little while since I've been in action inside the ring, and I was hoping maybe there might be promoters that watch your show. I'm not really sure or whatever, but it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. So if they don't see you in a ring, they might not be thinking about you or whatever.
Right.
But the crowds that were packed there, I will definitely tell the promoters that if you put me on your show, I come to shows with an entourage of people who not only support me, but they support what I do. So if any promoters are out there, my telephone line is open if you're looking to book anybody who will bring an entourage of people to your show.
Now, you did speak of that you have been inactive for a bit.
Yep.
Do you train at all? Do you kind of keep the craft going, or what's going on with that situation?
All right. Basically, I'll get into how I started and where it kind of weaned off for me. I started in 2013 with Joseph Von Schmidt in PWA. Joseph Von Schmidt is my head trainer. He's the guy who trained me to do everything in the ring. When I started in 2013, his school was in New Haven. So that was a trip back and forth on a daily basis, from Bristol, going there, coming back. The whole time I was there, it added up to a big time out of my day, but I started in 2013. His school moved to Cheshire at around 2015 era.
Okay.
All right. I was with him up until 2017. And in 2018, I kind of ventured out. I went down south to a couple companies here and there. And it was 2018 started slowing down for me.
Okay.
In the beginning of 2019, it was either January or February, I broke my leg in a sledding accident. If you're from Bristol, Rockwell Park, Sledding Hill.
Oh yeah.
I took a little kid down that hill, and halfway down the hill, I realized one of the two of us is gonna get messed up. So I knew my best. At the time, the kid was probably 8 years old, and I did not want him getting hurt.
Yeah.
So I covered his body up the best I could, and I took the brunt of the final splash and ended up breaking my leg.
Wow.
And that put me on the couch for a long time. I was out of action pretty much the entire 2019. I was done. I ended up starting to walk a little bit, probably. It took me around, because I also had other issues going on after I broke my leg. I ended up getting blood clots and everything like that. Was in the hospital for some point in time. And the overall injury took me 6 or 7 months to get back on my feet and just be up and normal. From there, I went and I tried out a couple different local schools.
Okay.
At that point, and I knew I didn't want to stay at one spot for too long. At that point, I kind of wanted to bounce around and see what was out there and what was being offered. So I bounced around a couple little schools, and then in March of this year, I tried out for Northeast. They had a tryout, kind of like a camp thing with Matt Taven.
Yep.
I tried out there, and right after the tryout, I had one match that week that was up in Pennsylvania for a small independent company, and then COVID hit. So it was like everything started closing down, and things were pretty much stopping. So I haven't really found a training facility that I want to just stay at for now. And I feel like, I've reached out to a couple of the local trainers in the area and have asked for one-on-one training with someone who's far more experienced than me. Because it got to the point where for a while, when I was training on an everyday consecutive basis, that I had been doing it for 5 years, and the guys I was training with were 1 or 2 years in.
Okay.
But there were not a lot of guys there. There were 2 or 3. There was Von Schmidt, and there was Bull Dread, a couple guys, but there were not a lot of guys there who had years and years of experience doing it.
Okay.
And I felt like, at the time, I'm not going to learn more and get better by training every day with people who only have 1 or 2 years experience. I need guys in the ring who have 10, 15 years experience, and they're teaching me stuff, you know.
Mhm.
And I want that right now because I have 2 or 3 guys in the wings who are local, who I personally in the future I would like to personally train.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you know, I'm looking to do that. I'd like to make it happen, but I don't want to do that myself just with the information that I've soaked up as to date. I want to
Okay.
continue soaking up information one-on-one with somebody who's been going at it for 10 years.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm looking to do right now. And it's kind of hard getting the schools to go along with that. You know, they have their regular routines where, you know, they've
Right.
got their structured classes going and they've got all their guys. And I'm really not trying to slow anybody down or anything like that. So I'm trying to talk to guys one-on-one right now
Okay.
and see what they'll do. But as far as training, I haven't trained recently within the last couple months.
Okay.
And that's a pretty big reason why. I haven't really found the spot that I've called home yet.
Gotcha. And it's not like you can just grab a wrestling ring and throw it in your apartment or anything, you know?
Exactly. That's a big thing too. You know, when you're talking a space for rent and all that, it gets really expensive for those guys, you know, and some of them are lucky to still be in business with all the COVID thing going on and everything right now.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely.
And the whole product itself, Don, is you know, as time goes by, things change.
Mhm.
You know, and for me, one thing, like you said at the Boys and Girls Club, the old Boys and Girls Club, when you saw me in the red, white, and blue singlet, who did you see me wrestle that night?
Now that's a bit fuzzy. The entire event is a bit fuzzy for me because it was so long ago. I mean, yesterday was so long ago for me. But the event itself, I mean, I can remember some of it, but your exact opponent, I don't remember offhand. I apologize.
Okay, but like you said, the crowd was fucking packed,
Yes,
right?
they were so
To,
hot, dude. It was
to,
insane.
to me personally, the crowd is everything. It always has been. Uh, with what's going on now with the COVID and the computer screens and they're wrestling with no people and putting in applauses and all of that. It's a lot different. And, you know, it's almost like going out there like a training match
Right.
where you're just in training and there's no one there. I don't know if I could personally do that, you know, and have it come out looking right or being what it's supposed to be for right now. I give kudos to the guys that are doing it. You know, like I've seen a couple clips from you know, Impact Wrestling and WWE where there's no one in the crowd,
Right.
and these guys are still out there and they're performing just for the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to say, if I tried doing that, it would be extremely hard for me because the crowd has always been everything for me.
Mm. Now, staying on that same topic, because the character Grappling Greg, he's a face character, and I've
Yes.
noticed you bring in the couple times I've seen you perform, you bring in some good pop, and the people were enjoying what you were bringing to the table. Where did the character Grappling Greg and why the American single?
I'm glad you asked that one now. That character, the Grappling Greg character, I don't know how many characters you've been up to date with that I've played, but I've been given my role of characters. I've
Okay.
played 3 or 4, and each one was a different challenge. But the Grappling Greg character was my character that I came in with when I was about, I'm trying to think here. I went 8, 9, and 10 years old. All right, those 3 years. Uh, I made it to the finals of the amateur wrestling tournament in Bristol, like for the amateur wrestling tournament. It would have been, well, I would have been in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. All right. Well, my first year, I lost in the finals in overtime by a 2-point takedown. And then there's like a little gap in between seasons. So the gap came, and me and my family went on vacation, and we went to like a beach, and there was a beach shop, where you can go and buy souvenirs and everything. And at the time when I was amateur wrestling and I was a little kid, my parents had really, really gotten me into the movie Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
So seeing Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa wearing these colors inside of the beach shop where we went when I was 8 years old, there was a pair of red, white, and blue shorts. So it was completely the American flag in shorts. So I looked at my mom, and it wasn't like, can I please, pretty please. It was, I have to have these, and can we please get them now? So my mom bought the shorts when I was 8 years old, in between 8 and 9. So at the end of the gap, after I had turned 9, the next wrestling season was coming around. I put on the red, white, and blue shorts over my singlet and went undefeated and won the finals in the 5th and 6th grade in the tournament.
Yeah, baby.
So I that was the whole thing. I kept the red, white, and blue thing from the amateur days when I was a little kid.
Nice.
And as an adult, I just knew that once I got inside a pro ring, that was the idea I was going with, the red, white, and blue. And pretty much the idea when I shot at Devon Schmidt was he was going to make me the Rocky of wrestling. That was the idea.
But keeping theme with your personal life with the amateur wrestling. You've got the American singlet. You're grappling Greg. It's the amateur thing. It's almost like a Kurt Angle-esque thing, if you will. They say when I've interviewed these the fine talent, they say that it makes the best character the easiest to project said character because you don't have to put a lot of time and creation in making something from scratch. So taking something from your personal life and just amping it up a bit for the wrestling crowd is the easiest way to go.
Yeah, I mean, had I had it my way, I would have never ventured off from that character. I would have kept it probably till this day.
Okay.
Because it was my idea, Now I can say this though, as far as the professional wrestling aspect of it, the Grappling Greg character was my idea. It's what I came in with, the red, white, and blue, and that is pretty much all me in real life from my amateur days and everything. But I did not learn professional wrestling, and what my trainer was trying to teach me the whole time until I put on a wig and a padded bra.
That sounds very interesting. Take us back. The very first character that you had to take a hold of and try to portray. What was the first gimmick that you were working with?
The first gimmick was Grappling Greg.
Oh, it was.
That was the first gimmick.
Oh, okay.
That's what I came in as.
You said that you've worked a few characters. What were some of the other characters that you were part of?
Okay, from the Grappling Greg character, I went on to play Hillbilly Greg.
I've seen pictures. I have seen pictures.
And that in the beginning, I absolutely hated the idea. Personally.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my red, white, and blues. I wanted to say the character I was going with. I had been working on that character and building up the name to it. So it was like, like you said at the old Boys and Girls Club, every time I was there, I was the Grappling Greg character. By the time the new Boys and Girls Club came around, I was the Hillbilly.
I gotcha.
So it was people hadn't seen that. They weren't familiar with me being that. And it was a whole new avenue for me. When I was asked to change the character, it was the character at first was still a baby face. And it was at the beginning of when they first started Friday Night Fights, there were 3 people in the arena who were undefeated the first 13 weeks straight. That was myself, Hippie Dicky Moon, and Wrecking Ball Legursky.
Wow. Okay.
We all went undefeated the first 13 weeks. Week 14, both of them took a loss, and I remained undefeated. But by the time I ended up, the whole push thing, I eventually wound up winning a singles championship and everything. But it was the character was turning heel.
Mm-hmm.
And that avenue I had never done before.
Right.
The whole time I played Grappling Greg, it was a face. The hillbilly at first was a face. It was at first when he switched the character, I just had to learn how to be a hillbilly. And I had a problem connecting to that. It was like, it was just a hard thing for me to grasp.
Mm-hmm.
But once it kind of came along a little bit easier, when I actually turned heel,
Okay.
that was fun. I enjoyed it. I never did it before, and when it happened and everything, I enjoyed it a lot.
That's awesome.
So,
I have heard being a heel is way more fun than being a face.
I would have to agree.
I mean, you like the pop from the crowd. I mean, that's what the probably the biggest aspect of being a face. But the heat that you can generate from not a whole lot of work, because if you do it right, you don't have to do a whole lot of work to get the heat from us because we're so damn easy. So getting the heat is a bit easier, and I am to understand it is a bit more fun than being a face.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Like, I always had my fun time as a babyface, though. You know, because when I liked as a babyface taking the heat in the match. I like when it's the heel's turn to really beat the shit out of the babyface. I like taking all the moves that they're gonna get. I don't know what it is. I dig it. But most guys, once they've been in doing it for a while, they would end up telling you, heel is way better because all you have to do is drain down the heat and you're not taking it. So it could be a little bit more funner depending on what you like.
Yeah, right. Now, excuse me. From the top of this interview, I have seen some shining gold behind you. Why don't you describe what's going on back there?
I got a couple of things, I got this one over here.
Right.
And I got this bad boy.
Wait, that's the Sparks Championship?
There you go, man. and I'm looking to get in the ring and defend these, man, somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
I'll put them up against anybody, any promotion that'll have me.
Now, the Sparks Championship, that's obviously a custom-made championship for yourself, I'm assuming.
Championship that I personally had made it.
The other one that we saw, what is that? What does it represent?
This is representing a small Fed that I don't talk about too much, or since COVID's gone down, they haven't ran any shows or anything. So this is a small little league I'm part of.
All right, cool.
And they don't really plug it too much themselves. Okay. So it's what it is.
All right. What are you watching for the current product? Because obviously wrestlers start off as wrestling fans, right, and you still want to keep up with the current product to see what's going on, the evolution of wrestling.
Right.
The evolution of wrestling fans, because we kind of go along with said evolution. What is some of the current product that you watch nowadays?
Well, it's been a long time since I've had cable, personally.
Okay.
And here's the thing. When I first got into the ring in 2013, I was the biggest follower of. I watch every Monday. I watch every SmackDown. I watch the pay-per-view. I watch it all. When I started in 2013, my trainer advised me to stop watching, and he said, "Don't watch the stuff on TV." He said, "Go on YouTube and watch the guys who are on the independents now and watch them, because those are going to be the guys that you get in the ring with first, not the guys on TV."
Okay.
So at that point, I had calmed down on watching WWE because I had watched it my whole life. And once he told me that, it was, okay, I'm going to go to YouTube and see what I can pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I knew from other companies that I had gone to with my trainer and gotten introduced to promoters and stuff like that. I knew who standout guys were on the independents. And once I started knowing, okay, these are the guys who are standing out and getting booked everywhere, and you see their face on all the flyers, look those guys' matches up.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what they do. And I did that for a long time. Currently, right now, I've only seen like clips on my phone from Facebook and stuff of major products, WWE,
Okay.
AEW, Impact. I've not seen like full length shows in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I think that AEW's got a lot of good talent. I think their shows are a little bit clustered though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I said, I haven't watched a full length event, but from the clips that I see and everything from it, I feel like if they're putting on 8 matches, that 6 of them are winding up in a disqualification or guys bum rushing the ring, and it's like a cluster. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't happen as much, or spread it out,
right?
So it's not happening every single match. But I think that they have possibly for the future a solid thing going right now. I would say AEW.
Yeah, and especially what they've done. Now, Impact is something totally different, but staying on the AEW, what they've done has been picking up that independent talent and putting them on YouTube. And they have a show called AEW Dark, which they put out on Tuesday evenings. I believe it's 7:00, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And they run that live. And it's worked up to, it used to start off, there was maybe like 3-4 matches at most. Tony Schiavone was hosting it, and he would give a little spotlight on a few matches and some of the talent coming in. But now it's kind of grown into, you've got Excalibur, Taz, and sometimes you get somebody else, a 3-man team that come in, or special guests being wrestlers that come in and commentate. They have been putting on a 2-hour-plus show on YouTube with like 15 matches, my friend, of all of this independent talent coming in, which some of them have actually been getting signed to AEW itself. So that's something that they've been doing. And staying on that same wavelength is Impact Wrestling is kind of the same thing. They built their roster over the past year, or since they left Canada, whatever the fuck that was, because they moved up Canada and everything got all screwed up.
Yeah.
When they came back to the States, they were doing the same thing, getting all of this indie. They were going from indie company to indie company and televising it on their Impact shows. So they didn't have a home. They didn't have a roster. They had a couple guys and shit, but
nothing really. They were just bouncing around, like you're saying.
Yeah. So basically now, Impact has finally come to some kind of a roster. It's very independent driven now.
I got a couple of friends on that roster, or at least a couple guys who I've been on shows with or whatever that are there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I don't know what they're doing right now. You know, it's been quite some time since I might have checked them out or whatever. But
yeah.
I know I'm pretty sure that Larry D is signed there. I'm not sure what he might go by his name. His name's Larry D. Ace Ramiro signed there, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple guys who I've been in locker rooms with that are signed there right now. I don't know how their program. It's been a while since I've seen their program, so I don't really know. I know that it's gotten better. From definitely where it was, how you were saying how they were bouncing around and everything, didn't have a home.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know if that had to do with a television deal or what at the time, but they've got talent there, you know.
You know, seeing guys like you said a perfect name, Ace Romero. Seeing him in our area, and you know, in the tri-state area, and then seeing him get into this higher platform.
Yeah.
Signing a multi-year deal with Impact, might I add. But now he's taken his body and transformed it. He was like
Yeah,
500
he's good.
pounds,
Yeah.
and he's
And
about
you know
350
what,
right
Don? There's been a couple of big men like that in the last year or two who were, you know, 400 or 500 pounds.
Yeah.
That, you know, they realized, hey, I'm on the wrong path or whatever, and they started hitting the gym, losing the weight, and they're looking good, man.
And one name you mentioned before, Wrecking Ball Legursky. Same thing. This past year has been very successful for him, transformation wise.
There you go. And I don't know how much you know about me and Wrecking Ball Legursky's past, but we have been former tag team champions with each other.
Oh, so, get out of here.
Oh yeah. We were PWA World Tag Team Champions for quite some time.
Oh, no kidding. Were you the hillbilly character?
I was the hillbilly character at the time, yep.
Was he a hillbilly
we were
too?
the hillbilly wrecking crew.
That's awesome.
And at the time, let me just say this: Wrecking Ball was there on my very first day.
Oh wow! Okay.
Of training professionally. There was a couple guys who you might know that were there my first day. Bull Dread was there my first day, and he had quite the helping hand in helping Von Schmidt train me.
Okay.
Wrecking Ball was there my first day. Hippie Dicky Moon was there my first day. And I was tag team champions with both Hippie Dicky Moon and Wrecking Ball Legursky.
Oh, wow. Were you the hillbilly character with Dicky Moon as well?
I was the grappler, Grappling Greg, red, white, and blue for Hippie.
Oh, no kidding.
Wrecking Ball.
That's a bit of tidbit of information that I had no clue because I didn't know the history of PWA when I started going in Cheshire.
Right. Wrecking Ball was at the time that we were actively the tag team champions. He would be the one to tell you this, but he was probably close to 430 or 440 pounds.
Wow.
He was a very massive man. And throughout the last year or two, if you followed him on Facebook and seen his transformation, he's done a great job, man.
Yeah.
And so is Ace.
Yeah, definitely. You've spoken of Bull Dread. I have him at the 6 o'clock hour because my fifth interview had to kind of take care of some other priorities. So I moved Bull Dread from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. So we're going to have him right after you at 6 p.m. and cap this off. And not only that, he's the current PPW Intercontinental Champion, and they're having their pay-per-view tonight. Yes.
Will you be watching now, Kid?
If I'm off in time, because I didn't expect to watch it because I was going to be, interviewing till 8. If I'm off in time, I'll definitely do it. But if I'm not and I have to watch the replay, I'm definitely going to purchase the replay. It's only $4.99. I mean, how can you?
Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with that. It's cool because actually, and once you see Dredd or whatever, make sure to tell him that Grappling Greg wishes him congratulations on his 20 years. Because
Yeah, 20 years.
He's been in it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And he was a very big part in the beginning of my training and my growth in the beginning.
Wow.
It's like they say, wrestling is like a brotherhood. Do you have a brother in real life, Don Kincaid?
I do not, sir.
Do you have a sister?
I do not, sir.
Only child.
Yes, sir.
You're very lucky. But my point being is, if you have a brother or a sister in real life, they're your siblings. You love them. You argue. You fight. You might have a spat. These type of things happen between some of us, where we've got into disagreements and arguments or whatever. But regardless of anything that's happened in the past, there are things that I've said or whatever or did that I knew was wrong, and I went back and apologized for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big thing too. You have to know, that if you do screw up, it's always a good thing to try to make amends or go back and say, hey, I might have been wrong or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I'm with you wholeheartedly on that one. So you've mentioned that you would like to get back in the ring and do your thing.
Yep.
We are obviously at a very, very odd time.
Yes.
If you can find your way back into the ring under some promotions umbrellas and such, would you continue this Grappling Greg character?
It's a toss up. It's a toss up. I would like something to still do with the Grappling Greg character in some way. But also, for me breaking my leg and being down and out for a while, and with the whole COVID and staying away from people and social distancing and everything, there's been it's been a dark time personally for me.
Okay.
And I came across this site that was something towards it's almost directed towards Halloween, almost like the site. But they had some really cool gimmicks that I was seeing, and I want to play something real dark.
Oh.
I'm looking into wanting to do that, and that's something that I haven't done before.
Okay.
It would be. I'm not sure if the character would be more heelish or what. It might be a gray area of, maybe something like the Fiend. He's different than Bray Wyatt or whatever, but it's a darker character. Something to that extent, and I'd like to try it out.
Being a heel is one thing, but when you go into a different realm, being a dark character, if you will, and taking it in, you've got to go all in, my friend. Don't go in halfway. Go in all the way, because it could be successful if it's something that you really want to grasp onto and give it a whirl. Yeah,
it's something that I've looked into. It's pricey what I want to do, because a big thing for me, Don, is this is something I don't know if my original trainer watches your program or whatever, and I never told him. But when I started professional wrestling, I had all my front teeth and no back teeth. Okay, and I eventually got my front teeth knocked out in a wrestling ring. I never told my trainer that, but my two front teeth. You ever see the Cesaro match where he loses his teeth? It was that bad. Okay. No, I didn't nail it against metal or anything, but I hit another human. Like the kid pretty much like flinched up and put his elbow up, and my mouth caught it, and that was it. From there, I had the rest of my teeth taken out because I didn't want a big, huge, like open gap in my mouth. You know, when I originally did that, it was right around the time where I was starting to play the hillbilly. So it worked for the character. There used to be a little kid in the front row going, "Hey, hillbilly, smile!" You know, and he would do it every week. And I was just lean over to the top rope and just give a big smile to the kid, you know. But for me personally, it was something where I got depressed over it. I knew, hey, I'm not going to be able to sell as many 8x10s now, things like that could affect me. So this darker character that I'm looking for has a whole face cover, that'll make me feel more better about myself, pretty much.
It would probably give you a little bit of a confidence level because when you put something on, I've heard that as well. You put a mask, you put a hood of some kind, you put even if it's like a hood from like a cloak kind of gig, you put these things on and it gives you this character, and that character gives you a bit of a confidence boost.
Well, like I said earlier, Don Kincaid, I didn't understand the actual professional wrestling in the ring, what we were doing, until I put on a bra and a wig.
You've said that twice, and that's going to be the name of this episode. I put on a bra and a wig.
There you go. You know, I also want to touch upon that character. I played the role of, I don't know if you ever seen it, but I played the role of Gigi.
No.
In PWA. I performed the role a few times, but there was only one match, and that character, to my knowledge, is the only undefeated character PWA ever had. Oh, and I wrestled Eric Jaden.
Okay.
As Gigi, and that match really is where I learned, everything of what, I was side by side with Von Schmidt for almost 5 years, every single day.
Okay.
And soaking up his knowledge and everything. And he told me the whole time, he was like, one day it's just going to click with you and you're just going to get it. And I never knew what he meant in the beginning because when I was playing the Grappling Greg character and everything, I was going based off of my amateur background and not really grasping everything in professional wrestling that, it's almost more of an acting role than wrestling. And it's almost like a mixture of the two. But I wasn't necessarily really, I was always told, if you come from an amateur background, it will always help in the ring. But a lot of guys can't break from their mind that amateur wrestling is real, and I'm trying to pin you and I'm trying to win, where it's not like that.
Yeah, it's the psychology end of the craft. Sometimes it's very hard to grasp on. Sometimes it's some talent grasp right onto it.
Yeah, right away.
And some talent it just takes some time.
And that's the whole thing with the trainers too. If you go to a credible trainer and everything, like some of the trainers, regardless of how guys look at them, they're putting their time, their effort, their desire into wanting to make you what it is that you want. Okay. And they're putting in that effort for you. Some of the guys can grasp what the trainer is teaching in 4 months. It might take the next guy 16 months, and that for the trainer is probably difficult as well, to be like, man, I wish all of my students can be like him, and soak up everything this quick. But unfortunately, it's just not like that. And the trainers have to go based on what you as an individual can learn and soak up from them and try to go on and do it.
Absolutely. Well said, my friend. Um, well, I wish you the best of luck on a couple things here. Uh, because you have been inactive and in wrestling, like you've said, if you're not seen, you become irrelevant very quickly
Right.
within any scene, any local scene. It doesn't matter what state you're in, no matter what platform you're on, even if you're on the higher platforms. If you're not seen, sometimes the people just kind of forget.
Right.
So hopefully we can get you back on the scene, get you into some promotions.
I'm
Um,
hoping so.
yeah. Secondly, I wish you success on this character that you're kind of wanting to jump into, and it's going to be scary. It's going to be nervous because it's going to be something new that you've never tried. But I wish you
Right.
the best of luck on that because we want to see our talent succeed. You know what I'm saying, man?
And there's a lot of talent, Don, that since the time that I've broken my leg, that have come in that I've never gotten a chance to work with yet. And I've
Yes.
been to a couple of local shows, man, on both on both Test the Strength's part and Paradise Alley's part. I've been to both local shows with both of their companies, and I keep close tabs on, you know, I've wrestled a lot of these guys throughout my career, but they've got a lot of new faces who I haven't wrestled.
Right.
I could definitely drop at least one name to you who I would really, really prefer to work with who is new like that.
Ooh.
Um, I would say Ichiban.
Oh wow! Ah, number one. Ah.
I definitely noticed that kid right away going to a couple of slick shows, and he amateur wrestled, you know, but he is someone who is probably very young in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He needs an experienced guy to make him look better than what he is, even though he's already looking pretty solid. You know what I mean?
As Jr. would say, he's quicker than a hiccup. That kid.
Yeah. So
Wow, Ichiban out of everybody, I did not see Ichiban coming.
I would like to work with that kid, Don.
Yeah, he's something. That kid, boy. Wow. Uh, Mr. Sparks, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Stirring the Pot. We've never really been able to kind of jaw a little bit. I have seen you at the Touch of Strength over at the Riders, but besides that, we've never really spoke much. And again, I've seen you perform a couple times, so I appreciate you wanting to come on the show.
Hey, Don Kincaid, I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you putting me on episode 200 of Stirring the
Yeah,
Pot.
baby.
And I appreciate what you're doing for local independent guys.
Oh,
You know,
no,
this is a way for us to also get seen. If promoters watch your show, if the wrestlers share it on Facebook, on the YouTube, it's best for all of us.
Hey, thank you for those kind words. I really do appreciate that, my friend. So, boys and girls, keep a lookout. Oh, before I let you go, is there a YouTube channel? Because I'm sure you have footage of yourself. Is there a YouTube channel or a Facebook page that we can maybe go check out some footage or anything?
Absolutely. I'll plug my stuff real quick for you. On Facebook, it's my real name is Greg Sparks. That's what I am on Facebook. It was Grappling Greg a while back, but I had a whole thing where I had to switch it back over or whatever. It was Facebook rules at the time or whatever. So I never switched it back over. My Facebook is Greg Sparks. There's tons of stuff, wrestling video footage of me on there. YouTube, if you YouTube Grappling Greg, you could YouTube Hillbilly Greg. One of the two. You could both names. You YouTube it, you're going to get a plethora of matches on YouTube.
And that is due to one Fogman who never missed a PWA show.
Absolutely, Fogg's put a ton of my stuff up. So
Yeah.
if you YouTube's named Grappling Greg, Hillbilly Greg, you're gonna get tons of matches. You can find me on Twitter at Grappling Greg. You can find me on Instagram at Grappling Greg.
Excellent. This has been Stir in the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Grappling Greg. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you very much, Don Kincaid. I appreciate it, brother.